प्रणाम सर। सुबह ही कर लेते हैं हम। मेरे सुबह ना मौन व्रत लिया हुआ था इस बोलकर 3 घंटे का। तो वो तो हम ज्वाइन नहीं कर पाए। नया कॉल आया था मेरे पास में। सर आपका आवाज क्यों नहीं आ रहा है?
हेलो।
हाँ सर, आवाज आ गया।
तो तुम्हारा तो मौन व्रत था, तुम तो चिंतित थे तो
9 से 12 सर, 3 घंटे का था। तो सुबह 9 बजे लिए थे, 12 बजे तक का था।
वो भी कर रही थी कि हो सकता है सर टाइम जोन होगा, इतना बजे से इतना बजे
हाँ
तक।
हाँ हाँ। तो तभी मैं बोली दोपहर में कर सकती हूँ, आज मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगी सुबह।
अच्छा, अभी हम जो
वरना।
तुमको पढ़ाने जा रहे हैं, एक
हम्म।
टॉपिक है कॉस्ट पुश इन्फ्लेशन।
कॉस्ट पुश इन्फ्लेशन, ठीक
हाँ,
है। सर ये किसके हेड्स में आ जाएगा?
मैक्रो में है इन्फ्लेशन।
मैक्रो में आ जाएगा।
तो इंडियन इकोनॉमी सब जनरल भी होगा।
ठीक है।
Welcome to Dr. P. Sevan Economics YouTube class, economics class, in which we are today, we are to discuss cost push inflation. We all know that inflation is a state in which there is continuous rise in price level. And there are two groups in the economy, buyer and seller. Seller will be happy when price rises, because price rises and size of profit also rises. But
यस।
buyer is unhappy. He may go for Mon Bharat, because rising prices always hurts buyers. There are many types of cost, many types of inflation. A student requested me to write down all types of inflation. Then I have uploaded 16 types of inflation in my uh,
चैनल।
channel. So kindly you collect different types of inflation list, so that you can read all types of inflation in coming times. Demand pull inflation and cost push inflation. Two things are very much popular more discussed. Demand pull inflation means price rises because of rise in demand. Supply and cost being constant. On the other hand, cost push inflation means price rises due to increase in cost of production. Price rises due to increase in cost of production, demand remaining constant. Price rises because cost, that is supply, will be affected. If cost rises, naturally supply will decrease and price will rise. Cost push inflation, you may think of workers demanding more wages. You had worked as executive officers in West Bengal, Calcutta. You know that the rise in salary is praiseworthy. But if price rises more than the rise in the salary, then consumer or the employer will not be happy. Cost push inflation means cost of production increases and therefore price increases, demand remaining constant in the market. So in the economy, there are two types of inflation: demand pull inflation and cost push inflation. And if we have two types of inflation at a time, then that is known as mixed inflation. India is such a country that it will not have only demand pull inflation. It will have cost push inflation. You know that new pension scheme, UPI, is invented, launched by government. It will be from 2025.
Okay.
Increase in salary, increase in wages. All these are factors relating to the cost factor. We all know that you are having powerhouse generating power, electric power, that depends upon coal. And suddenly there is a strike in coal mines. What will affect? Supply of electricity. If you
Sir,
have,
I did not get your question. Can you repeat the question once?
if there is increase in price of commodities in the market, it is called inflation. Now, question is that what are the reason for increase in the price? Two factors. Number one, demand factor. Number two, supply factor.
Supply factor.
Supply factor is basically cost factor. Therefore, economists call it cost push inflation. And demand is known as demand pull inflation.
Demand pull inflation, in short, demand pull inflation price is when price rise due to rise in demand. The supply is constant.
Yeah, supply and cost constant.
And cost is also constant. Okay.
Cost
And
is hidden in supply.
okay. So it is a part of supply only. The cost is part of supply.
Cost is the main thing of supply. Supply is
It is
final item.
inside the supply only, na?
Yeah.
It is inside supply. So it's
Yeah.
a part of supply.
Yeah.
So the cost next, the cost push inflation due to increase in the cost of production, demand is constant,
Yeah.
and the price increases.
Yes. This type of price rise is cost push inflation. You got it. Now let
Yes.
us start.
So you also talk about mixed inflation. Mixed inflation includes both the demand pull inflation and cost pull inflation happening at the time.
Let us start from inflation.
Okay.
Inflation is a state of rise in price, rise in
Right.
price level
Okay.
due to increase in cost, due to increase in
Cost.
cost and leftward shift in supply curve. First you write down, then I will explain. Leftward shift to supply curve, assuming assuming demand curve remains constant. Just make a correction. Cost push inflation is a state of price rise, is a state of rise in price level due to increase in cost and leftward shift in supply curve, assuming demand curve remains constant. What does it mean? Look here. This is supply curve. Upward and then becomes vertical.
Okay.
And vertical line will come downward. This is supply. S means supply. Supply means upward sloping and finally becomes vertical. Supply of seats in the cinema hall. If hall is not full, then you can get ticket and go and sit. When all
Yes.
tickets are exhausted, it means full. That is
Houseful.
the supply of seat ends.
Right.
So supply curve is vertical at the last, but in a starting it is upward sloping. And what will be the effect? Suppose there is increase in cost because of a strike, because of electricity cut, because of political disturbance. So it may jump, cost will jump up. Take the case of Bangladesh. What is the position of inflation? Cost push will be there, or in demand pull will be also there. I think there is beggary, there is poverty, money were looted. So demand side remaining constant, not varied there. But in our economy, if demand side is constant and cost increasing, three colors are given for increase. What will be relating to the demand curve? Look here. Look on my board. This is a starting point. So we will draw demand curve like this. Demand curve intersects supply curve at point A, and then cuts at point, look here, then cuts at point B, then cuts at point C. And you look here, this is cost. Cost means C1. C1, this will be C2, this will be C3. Cost numbering is that this is C1. This is C1, C2, C3. And this is supply curve. Look here, supply curve is S1, then it becomes S2, then
S3.
it becomes S3. Am I clear to you?
Yes, sir.
We all read in economics that demand minus supply is 0. This means demand is equal to supply. This is equilibrium. This equilibrium is this is equilibrium at point A, B, C in the diagram. In the diagram. In the diagram. Demand is equal to supply. Therefore, demand is equal to S, D minus S. This is equilibrium at point A, B, C in the diagram. Look on the board. A point is there.
Yes.
Then you draw you draw a perpendicular to y-axis. Then draw a perpendicular to y-axis, then draw a perpendicular to y-axis. Then first price will be P1, second will be P2, third will be P3, and this S3 disappeared, so we will write here S3. Three supply curve, S1, S2, S3. But there is one demand curve, DD. One demand curve, DD. You can call it D1, D1, D1. No change in demand. Demand is constant. But what is the condition? Condition, the cost is rising. What is condition?
Cost is increasing.
Cost is increasing. Cost is increasing from C1 to C2, C2 to C3, and leftward shift, बाईं घसकेगा, left, leftward shifting, leftward shifting of the supply
Cost.
curve. Shifting of the supply curve from OS1 to OS2, from OS2 to OS3, and equilibrium. Equilibrium point A shifts to B. B shifts to C. Consequently, price level OP1, price level OP1 rises to OP2. OP2 rises to OP3. This price rise is called is called this price rise is called cost push inflation in the economy. On x-axis, what is written? Demand and supply. Demand
And supply.
and supply. Demand and supply, or this is known as price level. Okay, you explain this diagram.
So this diagram is showed as cost push inflation. So in this cost push inflation, there is increase in uh, price due to increase in cost, and there's a leftward shift of supply curve assuming demand curve is constant. So in the above diagram, we can see that there is in the y-axis there is price level, in the x-axis there is demand and supply. So first we are first we are like first we are going upward supply curve, upward sloping supply curve. So if we have three supply curves, S1, S2, and S3, and then there is a perpendicular on supply curve to the x-axis, and when we have to this is a if we want an equilibrium point, so we have to draw a demand curve from taking x from the supply curve at point A. D is equal to S, and demand is always constant. So the shift of supply curve is only shown in the diagram. So S1 to S2 and S2 to S3. So there is an increase in price level due to increase in supply. So is it done? सर नीचे से बड़ा करिए तब वो बड़ा होगा। नीचे से
ये
बीच में क्लिक करिए, कॉस्ट पुश पे वापस क्लिक करिए ना। हटाइए इसको, कॉस्ट पुश पे क्लिक करिए, 3 जगह क्लिक करिए। नीचे से बड़ा करिए, नीचे जो सर्कल दिख रहा है आपको। हाँ, लेफ्ट, मिडिल में मिडिल वाले से, मिडिल वाले में। मिडिल वाले सर्कल पे क्लिक करेंगे ना।
मिडिल में कैसे लाए उसको?
मिडिल वाला सर्कल है ना,
इसको खींच बीच घस सकने का?
इसको घसकाना नहीं है, इसको आपको क्लिक करना, कॉस्ट पुश पे क्लिक करिए 2-3 बार।
इस पर?
हाँ, ये आपका क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? नहीं तो इसको एक काम करिए, बैक कीजिए, Ctrl Z करिए एक बार।
कंट्रोल
Z, रुकिए, अब इसको एक बार पूरा मिटा दीजिए। बस बस बस, और मत करिए, पूरा मिटा दीजिए इसको। हाँ, अब वो टेक्स्ट करिए,
हाँ
वो टेक्स्ट करिए, टेक्स्ट वाला ऑप्शन, वो जो बॉक्स आता है। हाँ, रुकिए रुकिए रुकिए, वह ऐसे ही रहने दीजिए, ऐसे ही रहने दीजिए। आप इसको कॉस्ट पुश लिखिए,
हाँ
कॉस्ट पुश लिखिए, कॉस्ट पुश इन्फ्लेशन। इसको और मिडिल करना है,
हाँ
इसको और मिडिल करना है आपको।
हाँ
हटाइएगा मत, उसी पे ना, ऊपर जाइए एक बार, आई पे, इन्फ्लेशन पे रखिए कर्सर को।
हाँ।
थोड़ा सा नीचे आइए, एक वो 4 वाला ऑप्शन आता है, एक तो थोड़ा सा ऊपर नीचे करिए ना एक बार, हल्का
किसको?
सा, कर्सर को।
ऊपर नीचे?
हाँ, करी करी करी, अ, हाँ ये रहा, आ गया, देखिए ये वाला आएगा 4 वाला, ये नहीं, एक और आएगा। वापस से करिए, राइट में जाके लेफ्ट साइड में करिए, जाके लेफ्ट साइड में करिए, हाँ ये आ रहा है। इसको इसको ही लेके ना, इसको लेके क्लिक करिए।
हाँ
हाँ, आपको जहां रखना है इसको रखिए।
सेंटर में आ गया।
हाँ
ठीक है, रहने दो इसमें।
हाँ
क्लियर हो गया?
हाँ, क्लियर हो
कोई
गया।
कोई प्रॉब्लम?
नहीं सर।
और पढ़ना है?
आप बोलिए, मेरे को कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। आज सुबह सर क्या करवाए थे नेहा को?
किसी का डिमांड पुल किए हैं, और मिक्स्ड
अच्छा,
मिक्स्ड और जो छोड़े तभी तुमको काट रहे हैं ना, इस इंडिपेंडेंट हो जाएगा। काट रहे हैं तो आप फिर दूसरे बार करेंगे अभी। तो
ठीक है
फिर
ठीक है
से ज्वाइन को इसको काट रहे हैं, ये अपलोड कर
ठीक
देते हैं।
ठीक।
डिमांड फुल अपलोड कर दिए।